Thank you for subscribing. Let's go with the information about what's happening in the world. And well, I want you to listen to this. Let's listen to this. Here comes the detail. Notice that, well, within what's happening, the strange things that are happening over there in Russia. Today, the radio station of the end of the world, well, this is what was heard. Here it goes. Well, they started playing Swan Lake, which is something that happens when critical things, when difficult, complicated things happen over there in Russia. It's a custom for Swan Lake to be played on the radio and on television. It's a signal given to the population that something serious is happening, so it's not just anything that's going on. I mean, it does have a meaning, and it's that something critical is happening. It doesn't have to be bad, just complicated, difficult, or at least intense.
Exactly, something intense. For example, today, I can think of Oresnik, who has already settled in Belarus.
Or is he already officially settled?
They announced it today, so you could say that.
Maybe there's a huge blackout in Moscow right now, affecting 600,000 people, but that happened after this, so I don't think it's about the blackout. But anyway, something is happening in Russia.
Yes, Swan Lake, exactly. They always play that one.
Swan Lake. So something strange is happening in Russia, something intense is going on, and so they think that's why they're playing it, but it's something strange, extraordinary that they're showing this. Continuing with how things are, greetings to the community. Can you hear me? Is the sound okay? Let's review the information details. Look, this happened in the skies of Mexico and the United States. This was seen, it's believed it was the Falcon, because look, the Falcon had this visibility range, and well, it seems that if it could do this, it probably would have happened around the 27th. The Falcon 9 would have launched. I think that's about the day it happened. So in Nuevo Leon, for example, and in other places in Mexico, people saw an image like this of something that looked like it was going out into space. Maybe, but anyway, if you have a picture, share it too, check it out. This situation that's happening over there in Yemen, what's going on?
Well, we're watching it. In Yemen, the military forces from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are withdrawing because today they were ordered to do so by Yemen. They no longer wanted or trusted them. We have to remember that what's happening right now in Yemen could be a new war, right? At the very least, it's creating tensions with Saudi Arabia, attacking different military points in Yemen.
Notice that the next image that also draws attention is this one. Protests are happening over there in Iran, where they claim that the Revolutionary Guard Army, that is the army of the Ayatollahs, is already starting to shoot at people. Be careful, the protesters are resisting. They're already talking about the takeover of Isfahan, which is the third largest city in Iran. If that's confirmed, since there's still no confirmation, it would be a huge move. But, well, the protesters are already calling for the end of the Ayatollah's regime.
It's in the city of Khoramabad. It's another city that I think we've never talked about, where this movement is taking place.
And look, speaking of this, you can also see these images of students in Tehran. In the capital, students from the University of Tehran, precisely, have come out in large numbers to protest against the regime of the Ayatollahs. Well, there too, the security forces are doing their thing against the protesters. Pay attention to what's happening. By the way, it's also being seen in Iran. Come on. The regime launched this ballistic missile which, well, makes everyone nervous. Israel, the United States, and the countries in the region. Do they want to create the temptation of generating an external conflict to avoid the internal conflict that worries them the most right now? Do they want to, give the impression of a war? As Masoud Pezeshkian, the Iranian president, said the other day that they are in total war according to him, but the Iranians are not focused on any war or anything like that. But that's the image that, by the way, is also seen in Krasnodar in Russia, where a Russian refinery was attacked by Ukraine with drones. No, that's also part of today's events and, well, of the last few days in general, right? This whole conflict situation has been very active. Pay attention to what's happening in Yemen, pay attention to what's happening in Iran, pay attention, and of course in Ukraine and Russia, because the situation there is really intense, right?
Exactly, it's a tough situation. And well, what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, we have these blackouts we were telling you about, and now the number has increased to 600,000 homes. That's what the Russian media are reporting, and well, we'll see how it goes, how it keeps increasing. Because in the end, as we were telling you in the car, that with 100,000 it was the attack, the blackout that Ukraine had caused, but now with 600,000 that's a number.
And in the capital right in the middle of the cold. Now look at what happened in Germany, like something out of a movie. What is this? Well, this is the inside of a bank vault with a huge drill. Some thieves broke into a bank in the city of Gelsenkirchen in the west. Sorry about the pronunciation, my German isn't very good, but anyway, the thieves had opened all that over there on the right and so on. They're all safety deposit boxes that would have money, gold, jewelry, and well, that's money, gold, and jewelry that isn't registered anywhere. I mean,
not a number.
They don't have an exact number. So they're there precisely so they won't get stolen inside a safety deposit box at the bank. The robbery in the bank's vault was done just like in the movies. From a building next door, they started digging the hole, went in, took the loot, and got away with approximately 30 million euros. That's the authorities' estimate. And this has obviously caused a stir in Germany, where the case is obviously being investigated.
According to the police who have already investigated the footage, you can see a car that would belong to the criminals, and it appears to be an Audi RS 6 model. The transporter is better, with a license plate from Hanover, from a city in northern Germany. And the thieves entered the vault through a hole and built a building next to it at the Sparkenson branch, which was closed for Christmas, right? And 95% of the customers' safety deposit boxes were forced open by the ROE. And well, that amount they mentioned, 30 million euros, is really just an estimate, because a lot of people keep things and don't necessarily register them or say exactly how much they're worth.
Exactly. Well, it's a robbery. One of the worst of the year. It's not better than the one that happened over there in France, not the one at the Louvre.
Where they recovered everything in the end?
They recovered everything? Yes, well, yes, maybe. The one in France was more interesting because it was more spectacular, but the one in Germany was more impressive in terms of money. And how do you recover something like that, right? I mean, because in the end, a little gold chain or whatever they took is much easier to sell. If it's not registered, then it's not. So yeah, well, that's tough. According to reports from the newspaper Bild, they counted up to 200 people in one of those first gatherings of customers where there has been some tension.
Because they want to go in and the bank tells them they can't enter. Many people want to know if they were robbed. And honestly, if I were them, I'd assume so.
Of course. Usually banks have insurance, so if your safe deposit box is robbed, they must pay you. But many times it doesn't cover the full value of what you had.
If you didn't register it properly to avoid legal issues, to not get yourself in trouble, of course.
That's the issue. In Germany, let's discuss other important matters. Several things are happening in Iran right now, and there are several reactions drawing attention. For example, this individual who stood in the middle of these security motorcycles of the Iranian police. Well, it has generated a lot of reactions because it has become a symbol of, well, the way Iranians themselves repress people, right? You mean those same Iranian authorities? So, right now, there's a situation happening like hasn't been seen in years. And now there's even a reaction from Donald Trump about it, and from several countries that have been commenting on this situation. Let's discuss the details. First, how has the President of the United States responded to this wave? Yesterday, there was already an initial reaction in which Donald Trump said that he didn't think it was right for them to be shooting at the population. He says Iranian authorities shoot at people whenever a protest forms, regardless of its size. Although he avoided directly calling for a regime change, he didn't say anything in that regard. Did Trump stay silent on that issue? But the protests, well, they're reacting. and they're causing, well, an even greater collapse of the rial, the Iranian currency, which is falling even more, and obviously the rise in the price of the dollar for the same reason, and even harsher inflation. But, well, people are stubborn.
They're stubborn, and well, yes. What she did mention is that the government of Iran is facing severe internal pressure. And Trump also added a little more spice to it, because he said this when he was in Netanyahu yesterday. And Trump warned that the United States will absolutely support Israeli attacks against Iran if the regime resumes. This is about the missile or nuclear program. This just adds more flavor to the stew.
Exactly. Doesn't this make the issue worse? And let's not forget that there's already a severe water crisis in Iran, a really severe one. I mean, right now the snowfalls they've had are kind of saving the day for them, but the problem is still there, and it's a crisis that could escalate to other levels later on as well. But another interesting point is that Iran would already be, if I'm not mistaken, on its third day of major protests, because since December 21st, labor protests have started in some places. But the massive, intense protests have been going on for 3 days now, and they've been escalating over those 3 days. Iran is going through a moment of unrest, they say, unprecedented. The protests began on Sunday, and in a very intense way, right? Well, it caused an even greater drop in the rial and an increase in the cost of living. The trigger, according to reports, is the anger over this year's inflation, anger over the currency's decline this year, and poor economic management. The water issue, all of this together has been a problem.
Exactly what started, at least these protests, which have been large, was that the merchants of Tehran, who, by the way, have historically always been allies of the government, started a strike. Because prices have risen so much that even basic goods like the food basket have increased, and now students from other groups have joined. This is a symbolic shift, experts say, because merchants have always been key allies of religious power since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. I mean, they are, let's say, the key to their victory as well, and they are in an open relationship. They closed businesses because of these protests. They have reported that the regime has ruined them with taxes, controls, and the diversion of resources to the military. Because there's always money for that.
Exactly. I mean, that's the issue in that matter, right? There was already a split among social groups that supported the regime. And that's also been seen among the police, it's been seen among people in the army, not in Iran's Revolutionary Guard, but in the government's army. So, well, this also shows how this situation is happening, right? And yes, it's true. So, they haven't recovered what was stolen, they've only recovered the crown that fell somewhere. They've arrested people, they have arrested people, but they haven't recovered the goods. Regarding the gold, yes, exactly. The situation has been the other way around. They've caught the people, or at least suspects, supposedly. Not the loot. Who knows where it is? They haven't found it yet, except for the crown they dropped, remember? But anyway, in Germany's case, I think it's very unlikely they'll recover it. To begin with, because clearly if they pulled off a heist of that magnitude and took all that stuff, just imagine how organized they must be. Yeah.
Well, but they said the same thing about the LUG case, and it turned out they were just regular thieves. It wasn't a criminal group, super exaggerated, right? But here...
It really is happening. Here I do see it differently in Germany, because, it's not as simple as the LUG case, because it was such a creative and...
Such poor security when it was so...
The idea was so disruptive. It's like nobody imagined that someone like that in broad daylight would just open up and walk in. They said that's impossible, that's not going to happen. There are images showing police using radios and giving instructions, so why aren't they coming out? They take so long to come out even with the police right there. Why don't you do something useful? I'm not really sure, it's strange, but going back to what's happening with Iran, the students might be the most symbolic part. Even more so?
Not always. The students in the end are the ones who keep the protest movement going. And we've seen it in many countries, right? Yes, where governments have fallen, for example, right now because of Generation Z. But have there been other generations that have done the same thing in history? right? But the images Pepe showed have really grabbed people's attention. For example, in the morning, where we see how the crowd surrounds the police and they just leave, right? There are several where they just see so many people that they end up leaving. Yes,
they ended up leaving from there, and yes, people throw all kinds of things at them. They throw everything at them in this movement. And well, let's move on to other topics about this same thing. The protest, well, they're not only asking for the resignation and for the dictator to be removed, but they're also talking about, well, the death, they say, of the dictator. But not just that, they're also saying that they want the chat back, for example, which has also drawn attention today. Look, here's this image. Listen to this. I think you can hear it a little in the background. Apparent gunshots. Well, you start to hear at the end there some apparent gunshots, who knows. But the report says that they're already starting to shoot at civilians. That, well, we don't know if it's with real weapons or with rubber bullets, which are also very dangerous. But anyway, this situation has been escalating. Trump's warning has also been given, and it seems to me it was pretty intense. I think now they're coming with the chants, right? Another part that also draws attention in this protest are the chants we saw in the morning, some of them even in shopping malls. Not this part, he says. The protests have escalated with demands in which chants like death to the dictator or explicit calls for an overthrow have been heard. Overthrow of a clerical regime, that is the regime of the Ayatollahs. In cities like Hamadan, in cities like Ise, people were heard shouting, "Long live the king," or also "Long live the Shah." For example, they would say, "No," or "God bless your soul," speaking to the Shah, right? So, well, there is at least this temptation for the Shah to return. So let's see, right? What's going on? But people even started saying, "Long live the king." I mean...
Exactly. Yes, there have been arrests. Several students, at least 4, were detained by the University of Tehran, but they've already been released. It was really quick. They also want to avoid causing more anger, especially tomorrow, Wednesday. Well, for them, it's already Wednesday. There's no work and everything is closed due to the power outage. It's so cold that, to avoid excessive energy consumption, they sent everyone home. They're probably already at these protests.
Exactly, surely, because I mean...
They're just fueling the fire, right? Since you know there's no energy.
Exactly. I mean, there's a pretty serious problem there in every way, not just economic, but also with a government of Ayatollahs who still think like it's the Middle Ages. And then there's the youth in society, right? And they're already looking for another way out, another path too. The exiled heir urges teachers, workers, and retirees to protest in the streets and expand what he calls the national revolution. It would be a neo-revolution since it's a revolution of the revolution. The Ayatollahs came to power precisely because of the revolution against his father, right? And now, well, he's the one calling for a revolution. Well, this is obviously interesting. This matter is taking a turn. We obviously don't know how it will end, but we'll be paying attention to whatever comes next now that we're in the area. The United Arab Emirates announces the withdrawal of forces. Earlier, we saw the image of the withdrawal of forces. Now let's discuss what is known in detail of this moment, of this situation that is happening right now, according to reports. Yemen. Today we mentioned it to you this morning, a state of emergency was declared, right? I mean, the Yemeni president came out to give this message in which basically he said that they no longer want the United Arab Emirates troops to be there. They said the withdrawal must happen now, gave only a few hours notice, and now it's goodbye, right? A 24-hour ultimatum was issued according to the Southern Transitional Council. This conflict is now aligning possibly towards another internal group who simply said, we don't want the people from the United Arab Emirates anymore. Now a state of emergency has been declared. But also because there is a separatist movement advancing in that region in the country, and they believe that this separatist advance is being supported by the United Arab Emirates. So you ask yourself how? You have military forces inside here and at the same time you're supporting the rebels? So you're gonna trap me, you're gonna show up with the rebels and say, look, go through here because I'm supporting you, right? Faced with this, they said, you all need to leave because we no longer trust you, not them. So obviously that issue has been surprising. They deny that they're fueling the conflict, but there's just no trust. There's no trust in that matter. Earlier, we were telling you about a blackout that happened in Moscow, in the capital, right? They were talking about 100,000 customers, 100,000 houses, homes without electricity in the capital. But now there are reports saying that 600,000 are without electricity. What's happening?
Reports say it was caused by a Ukrainian drone attack, for example, affecting the city administration in Moscow Oblast. The administration of the city of Ramayskovsk reported that the outage was caused by a fire in a cable at the local electrical substation. This according to the authorities. From there, emergency services are supposedly making the repairs, and the workers have been doing this. But the goal, they say, is tomorrow. Tomorrow this will be ready, and the supply will be restored as soon as possible. And the blackout also affected residents of cities like Sukovsky and Litakarino, where thousands of homes were left without electricity for hours. With quite intense cold, local officials point out that hospitals and other critical infrastructure have been connected to generators to prevent interruptions.
Police in Enyuglovsky and in Vecendo in Renascente is the most inoculated, releasing the very high frequency, for example, when stepping on the centigrade of the and Pripon -8 degrees. Without light, it's quiet since there's no heating.
Exactly. It's known that right now, well, what Russia says is that they have managed to shoot down 8 drones. And right now, the main airports in Moscow have been temporarily suspended.
Meanwhile, let's go into the details of what's happening with Oresnik, because it's already being reported that Belarus would be activating these missiles. Missiles that make NATO nervous, especially now that Belarus is very close to the Baltic countries, with the potential use of this weaponry. Russia deployed the hypersonic Oresnik missiles with nuclear capability near NATO, right next to NATO. They say it's a move with a high geopolitical impact in which the hypersonic system would be capable of carrying the warheads. And what nuclear warheads? And that the Russian defense minister has already given the detail that they would be activated and deployed. The Oresnik can carry nuclear or conventional warheads. They supposedly have the capability to go 10 times the speed of sound. They say they can't be intercepted by current anti-missile systems, and they have a range of 5,500 kilometers, enough to strike anywhere in Europe. If we look at the map, well, Belarus would be right next to or closer to Europe, right? Russia is still a bit farther, but Belarus is already right next to Poland. And if you look, it's about 1,000 kilometers, for example, from Austria, about 1,000 kilometers from Romania, right? From Germany, for example, which could already be very close to any situation. So what do you think? A few minutes? They can attack Germany if it's done from Belarus, right? Now, Kaliningrad is also close to all of Europe, isn't it? But this time, well, where they're positioned is in this part of the world.
It's not exactly an issue that's already moving forward, not in terms of Russia's capability in case they end up firing at the Knicks. Just a few days ago, Zelensky said that they had already been given the map of the areas that would be in danger in case of an attack by Russia on Europe.
Exactly, no, it's appeared around there. Greetings to Tijuana and Yaya, how have you been? Very good. Also to Panterita, how have you been, Panterita? Chetamal, he asks, what happens during the blackout? What things happen with the blackout, right? Possible? Things can happen during blackouts. Be careful with that too, with that issue. How have you been? Welcome to everyone joining the live stream, and thanks for being here. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about other matters, other important topics as well. He says that, well, the situation in Thailand was also intense as they accused Cambodia of violating the ceasefire. With a flyover of 250 drones, just a few, that's all. According to today's accusation for violating this agreement, the nighttime flyover of more than 250 drones is being reported. According to reports, they entered the territory of Thailand.
Precisely on Sunday, not Saturday or Sunday. They signed the peace agreement, Sunday for them, and right now the peace agreement is already being violated. In fact, on Monday, Marco Rubio came out saying that it was nice to see that they were at peace again. But well, it hasn't lasted very long.
No, it hasn't lasted long.
As long as the root of the problem isn't addressed, and as long as both countries use it, just like they say, they use external wars to deal with internal problems, well, this is going to continue.
They introduce a new currency. The Syrians, look, they already have planned. These are going to be the Syrian bills. Honestly, they're very nice, very interesting. There are some of the bills they'll have, and well, so what do you know?
It's known. They removed Al-Assad's image, which was present but not on the bills. A way to start from scratch as a country, and President Ahmed al-Shara, he said this monetary change will be a gradual process. Not that any country that has gone through it, well, it's something that happens over the course of months. It can take up to a year or more as the bills are recovered and released.
This takes effect immediately starting January 1st. Good question from 67. He says the war hadn't stopped.
Well, it didn't go well for him.
Exactly so.
But the truth is, honestly...
Exactly. Let's say the issue wasn't really resolved at its root, and so the conflicts come back, right? I mean, you have to go into detail. You have to reach a real solid agreement. This hasn't happened in any wars that supposedly solve Pakistan's issue. In India, the issue with Congo and Rwanda is still super tense. The next day, they supposedly started shooting after the agreement, so those agreements really haven't led to anything.
That small flag looks like it's from Monopoly, but the people on it seem Mexican to me too.
Some do. For example, this 10 looks like the 50, right?
The 200 looks like...
The 200 same color?
And everything is exactly the same. Are they copying the rights there?
Of authorship, no.
Mexico wins for having the world's most beautiful bills. Others are copying its ideas.
The tourists? Is that a good thing, he says?
Here? Chetumal, without electricity and without drones, there was a lot of wind. Chetumal, you're like Chetumal.
Where does it say? Where does it say Chetumal? Chetumal, it says, here we lost power, and hey, seriously, are you without electricity? Right now, they've been struggling with that issue. How's it going? Tell us, please, how is it? Let's move on to other matters, other important topics. Well, there was talk a while ago about an attack on an oil tanker, but it's not known, right?
We really don't know. What happened is that today they did release the image. Yes, this was published by the Southern Command, which is the United States military that's in the Caribbean. They shared an image where we could see the planes coming in, well, the helicopters landing. On this oil tanker, they provide no information. That's the image, but no details are given. Yeah, I don't know, or if it's another one.
Or if it's an oil tanker that was already attacked.
Or that they don't give anything, nothing, they don't say anything. I think it's not new, because they don't brag about it, of course, but they do show it, they add music and all that stuff.
I mean, he says, Southern Command publishes videos of the seizure of a Venezuelan oil tanker, but without specifying if it's new, if it's the same ones, or what exactly happened.
Well, that draws attention. By the way, today, Nicolas Maduro warns that he is sending guards to 2 oil facilities after the United States attacked a key point for the Venezuelan regime. It's a deployment that covers refineries and industrial complexes located in regions where, for several years now, there have been smuggling networks and criminal organizations. But one thing that really stands out is that despite this, let's say, sanction from the United States, that they're not going to let oil tankers come and go, they're even going to keep the tanker. There are 2 ships from China that are currently heading toward Venezuela, and they're going in a straight line. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going anywhere else. They're going straight to Venezuela.
It's a challenge from China, possibly, if they actually arrive, but if they're coming from China, well, we'll see. What is the United States doing about the arrival of these oil tankers in the Caribbean, right? That would be really interesting to watch, and we'll be talking about it soon. Meanwhile, there's a report, this is the one Petro mentioned, about this attack on a facility in Venezuela. How was the situation?
He says today there are images of an attack. Well, no, an attack. You can see a factory in Maracaibo there in Venezuela that's burning. And today, Petro comes out to claim that this place is a cocaine lab that's very close to the Caribbean. And we know that Trump has bombed a factory in Maracaibo. Okay, we have to mix the coca paste there to make cocaine and take advantage of the location on the Maracaibo Sea. That's the version he gives of what happened today. Well, yes. Right now, almost any fire that happens in Venezuela has been drawing attention because people immediately tried to connect it to the United States, to the CIA. But the fact that Petro was going, it's Petro after all. But he's also a president. Could that cause a stir, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, also United States media revealed the CIA may already be operating internally and taking action. By the way, you were telling me that United States intelligence is upset with Trump for revealing these things. These things should remain.
They are intelligence matters, yes.
They should remain in that ambiguity, like many attacks Russia carries out in Europe. You will never see Vladimir Putin saying, oh yes, it was us.
We took out the train in Poland.
We blew up the train in Poland. I mean, no, right? They don't say that because those are intelligence operations. But then Trump lets this slip on a radio station and you think, well, this shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have been said.
He had already been told. You can see that in October, when he also revealed a move, the intelligence people got upset. But well, Trump is Trump and he said it. And unfortunately now it really limits the intelligence agency's capabilities. Because the idea is to make these moves. And even the regime itself says, but who was it? Was it the United States? Was it Bono inside, or was it just a coincidence? And now you can't do it anymore?
No, not anymore. Now, having opened it up to the public, well, it causes annoyance within internal intelligence. Now, well, it has had a media impact. It took a while, but yes, it has had one. It's also known now that it was thanks to an MQ-9 Reaper.
You can't see the movement that way.
What if they're drones flying very high? They've already been shot down. The subtle ones, I mean, they have some, but also,
But how did they shoot them down if they fly so high?
they already have their, what's it called? Ballistic missiles can reach the atmosphere and even have the capability to go higher, though not into space. They claim to have shot down about 30 drones, but I believe only 3 are confirmed. But still, I mean, it's surprising that the Houthis have that capability, most likely with help from the Iranians. Right, that's what people believe, but what else about this topic?
Well, in the meantime, like we were saying, Maduro is making moves. Yesterday, did you post it? He was saying that he only receives 2 petros in his... He says he doesn't have his small account.
That he's not interested in the profits. That no, those things, no, he doesn't care about them.
He doesn't know about that, but he knows his wife spends everything. But anyway, right now there are officially 2 oil tankers detained by the United States and one that's still on the run. By the way, do we know anything about the Vela 1? At one point they even painted a Russian flag on it so it wouldn't get stopped, but well, it didn't work for them. Right? Yeah, but it says a lot, doesn't it, that they thought the Russian flag would save them. Is he still on the run, or is that still interesting?
He is.
Yes, he's still on the run and hasn't been caught.
Well, that's the thing, so let's move on to other important topics. Let's keep changing the subject and move on to other important matters. Open offers a $550,000 salary to hire an expert to prepare them for the issue of AI risks. That also shows more interests are involved. And we have to remember that most of the founders of the primary team, let's say from Open, who are no longer there, who no longer work at Open, all of them, or almost all of those who have left, have started something new. Companies focused on security against those intelligences in the future. So does that mean they've also seen that there are risks?
Well, this head of preparation who has this hefty salary of over $500,000 a year, plus stocks, which are always the most important. Well, he would have to anticipate and mitigate the most serious risks of artificial intelligence, from cybersecurity to mental health. Because we have to remember that there have already been several cases of people with mental illnesses who have taken their own lives or who have made moves. That's not something that should be done, but it's a generous, urgent offer. But she will have to make critical decisions from day one and take on the pressure of protecting all users from these chat intelligences. It's tough. The issue isn't that's true. No.
No. I mean, now, who wouldn't you put in that position? I mean, I imagine there are very few people to count. You can still count them on one hand to fill that profile, right? And that's if they don't have another contract that pays them more. So yeah, it's interesting. Let's see.
Does generative pre-trained transformer have several lawsuits because of this mental health issue? And is the workload heavy? It has to detect systematic vulnerabilities, design containment protocols, and prevent malicious actors from using the chairs destructively, even in more sensitive areas. By the way, one of the former chat generative pre-trained transformer workers said that these intelligences have this system. I mean, it's already been proven that they have this self-preservation thing, right? And that it's important for each company to have someone designated to shut it down in case it does something crazy, just to protect themselves.
Exactly. Well, let's move on to other matters. Let's move on to other important points. Well, quickly, what's happening with the weather in the United States? There's talk of a bomb cyclone that would be affecting the eastern area. A forecast that, according to what various United States media outlets are reporting today, and well, the same meteorological service of that country. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is monitoring the biggest risks in climate matters. And here we have a summary of what's coming for this area of the United States, especially for the eastern region, which is already being hit hard. And here, I want to thank the community that has been sharing images and videos with us about how this situation is. The winter storm has already paralyzed some cities in the northeastern United States with heavy snow, strong winds, and extreme temperatures. And if we look, for example, at the wind gusts that have been happening right now, they're still strong throughout this entire region. We saw how Buffalo was affected. There was a huge storm since yesterday, but this morning several intense images emerged. A bomb cyclone is basically when atmospheric pressure drops sharply in just or less than 24 hours. And this causes an intensification in the weather. Here it means colder temperatures, stronger winds, and snowfall. According to what the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration itself says, the most affected areas so far are New England and also some of the Great Lakes states. Cities like Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Washington, District of Columbia, Buffalo, Syracuse, New York, and Boston have been in the path of this storm that has hit pretty hard. Today we'll also discuss Mexico, but this situation has truly spread. In New York, there was a warning about snowfall of up to 3 inches per hour. Just imagine, and conditions almost like what's called a blizzard in counties like Wayne, Cayuga, Oneida, Onondaga, and Madison, Syracuse. You could also experience zero visibility from snow. And well, we saw a little while ago the power outages that are also happening in some regions.
Exactly, there will be snow flurries, ice, freezing rain, and hurricane force winds. Up to 100, with 100, 14 million are on alert since yesterday, Monday, and areas both in the south like Kentucky and West Virginia. There will also be accumulations, but less than in other states. There are active warnings, a winter storm warning due to lake effect snow, in effect until Thursday of this week. There are also storm alerts, ice in New York and Vermont, and strong winds, which have caused flight delays. Over the weekend, we discussed 1,500 canceled flights, but now it will affect Chicago and Detroit.
Well, that's how things are. By the way, here in Mexico, we're experiencing a northern wind hitting right now in the Gulf of Mexico. And well, it hit Texas. And then after that, Tamaulipas and then Veracruz. And then it moved toward the Isthmus and the Gulf of Tehuantepec toward Oaxaca and Chiapas. These winds also have an impact, and some of them reach up to 100 kilometers per hour. This one is quite intense, up to 100 or 101 kilometers per hour. So is this issue really serious now? For temperatures, tomorrow will be 31, right? On the year's last day, cold temperatures are expected in parts of Mexico, including here by tomorrow night. Temperatures in Mexico City will be around 8 degrees Celsius at night. And so, well, in Querétaro and Monterrey, by the way, they're also going to have temperatures of about 8 degrees, more or less the same. I mean, no, it's not going to be freezing, but it will be cold enough to at least wear a light jacket. And as for the United States, well, the cold extends all the way to Texas and Florida. Not freezing, I insist, but some areas will be pleasant as the sun appears. In many regions of the country, not in this case of Mexico, but also because there isn't much water accumulation for tomorrow. Look, this is the water accumulation for tomorrow. I mean, in Mexico, it's very little, just a bit in the northwest, but there's very little humidity. So, well, there's going to be relatively good weather. Rain in California could also impact Baja California, Arizona, Nevada, and nearby areas. But in general, there's little humidity expected for tomorrow, so let's hope for good festivities. Except for the northwest United States, which experiences extreme weather like cold winds. You can also take that into account quite a bit. If another report comes out tomorrow, a change, we'll talk about it, but also since we're at it, let's mention it now. We see the temperatures in Spain, in the United States, in European countries. Now that's cold, it's really cold, you see, it's hitting hard. And tomorrow those temperatures are expected to get even a little more intense. As you can see, they're going to ring in the new year with below zero temperatures in many cases, which will last for a few hours, and then, by the first day, they'll start to ease up a bit, at least for Spain and Italy. But at least until the 31st, which is today for them, since they're already on the 31st right now, they'll have to deal with below zero temperatures until tomorrow. For the first day of the year for them, temperatures will be slightly less cold, but all of the 31st and the first hours of the 1st will remain freezing. Italy, Spain, France, and a good part of Eastern Europe, even if you look at countries like Finland, are already experiencing super cold temperatures in some areas. We're not talking about minus 20 or 30 degrees Celsius like in some parts of Russia. Even in China, there are already some parts that are experiencing extremely cold temperatures right now. So, let's also pay attention to what's happening there and on the opposite side toward the South of America. We're seeing that for tomorrow, the highs. Here we're looking at the opposite, right? The highs are, well, in some places already close to 40 degrees. As you can see in Argentina, in Uruguay, and in some parts of Bolivia and Paraguay as well, there's a lot of heat. Even in southern Argentina is already experiencing very warm temperatures. So, well, the intense heat is already here, and now you can really feel that summer isn't coming in gently. And this, well, it's also important for our friends living in those regions of the world to keep in mind. Just quickly, regarding water accumulation for this region for the next few days in this part of the world, look, not much. There isn't a lot of heavy rain, except way up north, over there between Bolivia, Paraguay, and Argentina, where higher amounts of rain are expected. It's important for January 1st, 2nd, maybe even the 3rd, when strong humidity is expected in that region. Well, stay alert about that. If we quickly look at water accumulation for the United States, that's all. Looking at the first week, we get an idea that the most intense part of rain or humidity is in the west. Yes, that's for Oregon, California mainly, Nevada, Arizona, possibly even Washington, and also Utah, not the North and Colorado. So also keep an eye on those chances, not so much to the east, more toward the northwest. We've talked about rain, so let's discuss something else. Let's check the comments. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Nearly the year's last day. We're not going to see how the community is doing tomorrow, the 31st. Let's see who comes here with us to say goodbye to the year, to give the year a farewell. Greetings to Juan Mole. He's excellent. The United States has support from Russia and China. Your mother is going to see what the American hen does, who trembles before these super titans, says Juan Mole. Greetings. You say to whom? To Venezuela?
I suppose.
I mean, you really. Do you think China and Russia are going to defend the regime? No, my friend.
No, they don't defend their closest allies.
Man, I would have gladly left the comment, my friend, but you're just here to spam. You're just here to spam. I mean, if you had posted the comment just once, I would have gladly read it, right? And well, I already shared your opinion. It's even here to appear on screen. But that's how it is, right? Just don't spam or you'll get blocked. If Venezuela says no, you're mistaken in that sense, but that's your opinion. Do you think they'll back it or send in the military? Russia, unless they sent them for Iran.
Nor for Syria.
Not for Syria, where there are Russian bases and Russia did nothing, or for Venezuela, even less. No, that's not it, but sending a big greeting. Greetings, Wilcox. How have you been, Laura? How are you? Doing well? Greetings.
Pantelita says greetings. Have a great weekend in 2025. Greetings from Pantelita.
She says it's very hot in Uruguay and we're being told to save water and stay safe. It's coming, the girl says. Greetings, Laura.
It's better now since it already happened to them last year. They didn't have it the year before, but they did experience a drought. Very tough. Greetings to Benedicto Villegas.
Greetings.
Chavoro says, with clown socks to keep you warm after the wind. This is for Draper.
Greetings, how have you been? He says the United States pays you, so then why do I also criticize the United States? I mean, I'm asking, right? Juan Mole. No, you don't know the channel, and I think Madurito does pay you. You're getting your petrodollars. I don't know what they send you, but I send you a big greeting, my friend. But if you're here to troll, we've already given you a second chance. The third one is goodbye. And well, look for it somewhere else. It's not that you can't have a dialogue, you can think differently, but coming to attack and tell lies and things like that, well, the dialogue ends. And well, goodbye, but anyway, I send you my regards. He says, how have you been? Greetings, Ivan. How are you doing? He says. Comment on what kinds of food you prepare for New Year's Eve dinner. No.
Tell me what you do. Some people make lentils.
The classic.
Some people make spaghetti. I recall one particular year.
That's a given.
When we went to look for spaghetti, we couldn't find anything at all. And just I think it occurred to us because it's not like there's spaghetti, but there was one Christmas when we went and there were no potatoes at all. I had never in my life seen that there weren't any potatoes. Yes, and after that, we always bought 2 sacks of potatoes in advance.
No, now they also prepare badly. I don't know what happened that time, but yes, the cake was missing. Well, now spaghetti is very common. Pasta is like a staple. Turkey, obviously, turkey is also used a lot. Besides, since it's the last batch of turkey, you find some really great deals, so you can get turkey very cheap. We're not going to eat turkey, we're going to eat... What's it called?
We're going to eat ravioli, and we're going to eat some meat, and we're going to eat salad. It's a number 7 steak.
Number 7 steak, that's the classic one. Yeah, well, we didn't want this one. We had thought about chicken, but at the last minute, it was like we ate chicken all week and it was like chicken again. No, I mean, because it got cold and the broth and the chicken, you know? So like chicken again, it was like not anymore. Ravioli, which are huge, they're really cool.
I'll give each of you 6 eggs and sell the rest at a higher price.
The little salad, you know, lettuce, walnuts, goat cheese. What's it called? That it's goat cheese with
Cranberries?
which is very interesting. That and well, a little wine this time, and
I'm going to add it to the tiramisu. Wish me luck, Christy, as I'm about to start. Please, lots of good luck. Greetings to Demetrio Marcus, as this says, very good evening. I think I fell asleep. The last year of 2025. Greetings, Demetrio. Greetings also to Francisco Arce, very good evening. And also to Jose Manuel. How are you? Jose Manuel?
greetings, Jose Manuel. How have you been? Very good, they say. Don't fight, especially not over politicians. They're awful, yes, especially not. I mean, did you really do that? I mean, what a drag, right? I mean, what a drag to be arguing over a politician. No, please. I mean, no.
No. Greetings to Maria Alexandra, who says, the world is in a bad place and I think that guy has dementia.
Hi, Maria. How are you? Very good.
Hello, Edgardo Castillo. How are you?
Greetings, Edgardo. How have you been? Very good. Caribel, Rigoberto, Maria, Elena, Adelson. Who else haven't I greeted, Maria Alexandra? What's up, he says.
Pictures of the tiramisu, yes.
Comment. It'll turn out delicious. Will you share the pictures with us? If you got the little cakes, does little cakes mean the cookies? No, but I made them.
Over the weekend, I made them on Sunday.
It turned out like that, right?
They turned out the same for me. Well, not exactly, actually.
No, yes.
No, my food may look ugly, but it's excellent. It looked ugly.
It even looked, well, you know how they're kind of round?
Yeah, that's how some of them are.
You brought me the prettiest ones. I only saw the two you gave me since it was a test. You even chose the prettiest ones for me.
I picked the prettiest ones for you. I now have many things I didn't before, so I kept them here, which is great. But the thing is...
Quick side note, one time he did it. He puts it where it should be. In the photo, he made some Christmas cookies that were little snowmen.
No. Oh, I know which ones. They were really cute.
Yeah, right? I mean, but they were a mistake. I mean, yeah. They were a mistake.
They were. It was no.
No.
No, are you confusing them with other cookies?
They all melted and then yes.
Those aren't? Yes. Yes. They were the oatmeal ones where you made the circles and everything melted and turned into a single block. But those were the ones I did nothing to.
No. And just leave me in peace. Well, leave me in peace, but like a snowman.
Yes.
Yes, the snowman ones.
Well, they fit perfectly.
Exactly. They fit perfectly, even though they were a mistake.
No, they weren't a mistake. Let's go find the photo.
Please, that's why we took the photo, he says. No, but I mean, that's what he says. I made a Spanish omelette with spinach, some rice on the side, and lots of love. That's it, Maria Alexandra.
Very
good. This one says they say I will make some sizes.
Oh.
Delicious in the style of F. Sweet and green, I mean. But green means they have green sauce. Or they're just green. Or they're green, right? For some other reason? No, I don't know, he says. You already scolded me in a short video and it was the only comment. It says, oh, catches sky blue. Who scolded you? I didn't scold you. No, I didn't scold you, Popo Street. I don't know.
No, I didn't scold this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I only scold my children.
Maybe they're just trolling, but no, I don't scold anyone, he says. Enjoy your meal, he adds. Best wishes as a state and may you both keep up the great vibe. Blessings to you both. Actually, well, we don't really read the comments on the shorts. Honestly, we don't have the chance because, well, even so, I mean, the comment gets hidden a lot, so it doesn't show up in our comment list. It doesn't show up in the shorts comments. So would I have to go into each of the shorts to reply? It's not impossible, but we rarely reply to anything on the shorts. We reply to video comments because it's great that YouTube organizes them and shows which video they're from. All the comments are there, which is cool. Not sure if you can add the shorts though.
Yeah.
At least the last time I checked. No, it doesn't show them, I think. Or maybe they put them like, wow, excellent. Like that, he says, just let them dry so they can absorb the coffee. Honestly, they don't taste like anything except a little sweet.
But in the video, Christina said the guy would add half a cup and then another half a cup, right? Or was it a quarter of a cup and then another quarter of a cup? I've only added a quarter of a cup and it seems sweet enough to me. I mean, I don't know if he made a mistake there or what the deal is.
For Jorge, it's very sweet. The version of what?
I think so. It really stuck with me. I liked how it turned out.
They're tasty and I dipped one in the coffee to see how much. And it absorbs really well. I mean, it's like a sponge. It soaks it up quickly.
Greetings to Luis Manuel, who says hello and asks a question. Are the Warners still operating in Venezuela? And what was President Vladimir Putin's reaction? Regards.
Yes, they supposedly still operate there because they have interests like mines and similar things. So, in the event that the Warners wanted to operate for Ukraine, would they be not for Ukraine, for Venezuela, which honestly I see as difficult. But if they did, then yes. It would be a direct problem with Russia, and Russia would get into trouble, since right now Russia is getting along well with Trump. Yes, because he would ruin something that's turning out quite beneficial for him. He's getting along quite well with Trump, Putin. This Trump is doing some crazy things by getting close to that regime. And why would he risk that? No, it wouldn't make sense. In any case, what there could be is a challenge from China with the oil tankers, but the oil tankers they're not military. I mean, they are. It's just to show power, to say I can do it, but who knows what could happen? I mean, whether the United States will let them or not, I don't know what they're going to do about that. It'll be interesting to watch.
Yes, Maria Alexandra says, when my children were single, they used to make delicious meals. Now it's been years since I've stayed home alone, just relaxing on the couch and watching lots of movies, says Maria.
Those plans are also being considered.
If the Finns are complicated, well, maybe I should just give myself a break. A lot. We went to Soriana since Ichiban had nothing. There was just one package and I thought it was overpriced, but we haven't visited more places and honestly, I'm getting too lazy to do it.
We also went to Soriana at Unsol. It was very big. But to Walmart, no, it's not like staying overnight. It's not the same at Walmart.
I think so, but just because it's online doesn't mean it's really there.
Yes, but it wasn't online, you know?
Yes, there was.
So we forgot to go to Walmart. No, yes, it was the only one, and at Ichiban there were some, but they were super expensive. Well, basically with that, you could buy a top-tier cake, I mean, with the price they were selling it for. So, it no longer made sense.
Yeah, because it's that plus everything else, yeah.
Since each cookie costs 300 or 400 pesos.
Yeah, right there.
So with that, you could buy a really good cake. And here it was just those cookies. More than if, Baileys or whatever, you're going to add all those things. Yeah.
The cheese, which is also kind of pricey, this one. Greetings to Rublox, and over here we care about you.
Says Rublox. Greetings, Rublox. How have you been? By the way, Rublox Bash, you sent an image and I promised to show it today to Canyon. Yes, wait for me a moment. No, well, I don't have it anymore. If you have it, Rublox, send it to me on Telegram. I'd appreciate it and will share it. I just have it myself. Some time ago, I activated a setting on Telegram so that all the messages I receive get deleted every 24 hours. Because it would get full, bless you, it would get full. Suddenly a lot of videos would come in like that. My phone would get full, so I'd run out of space. So.
Yes, ask me, how do I get the news mug? I think they're really pretty. Do I just click buy? Yes, that's separate and managed by YouTube, so it's very reliable. They also ship worldwide.
Yes. So that's the thing. That's the topic. If you end up getting the mug, please take a picture of it, please.
So we can see?
Yeah, to see how it gets to you and how it arrives.
Some people bought but didn't send photos. We can see purchases but haven't received any photos.
Yes, the small group that buys, well,
they don't tell us who.
I'm very grateful to them. Yes, no, we never know who buys them. They just let us know that cup has been bought, that other one has been sold, or something like that. This is greatly appreciated. This one says, when my children were single. Oh, you've read it already.
It says, look, Christina here in Guadalajara. Christina, it says, when I lived in Guadalajara. The funny thing is that I used to buy them in bundles for 20 pesos. I mean, here I also buy them at dollar stores because not all stores have them.
Well, they're better at...
That place, there's a Guandos around here, yes?
Maybe they're there. Well...
There's one now. I have to do them now because greetings.
And we're going to make it with carajillo.
With carajillo?
With carajillo, that's how it's going to be. And we also bought snacks. That's also part of the class.
The tres leches one. You know what, Maria? The other day I came across the recipe and I was shocked by the amount of sugar. I said I'll never make it in life, so I'd rather just buy it and avoid guilt.
It's delicious, but it's intense, let's say. This one is already done. Look, I got it. Thank you for sharing it. Yeah, I didn't forget about that and I didn't download it in time. So I don't have the video anymore. I mean, whatever you send me, if I don't download it, that's it. But today we'll play it for you here. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Open WhatsApp and display the photos.
What photos? What photos are you sending?
The proof, the evidence.
Did you send it? Did you send it? Yes. Okay.
Okay, look.
That was the cartoon change. I liked them a lot too. They were good. That's what I mean.
Yes, but those were in Playa del Carmen, yes?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes, they were in 2000, like 2010, 2011, 2011 too. Uh-huh, yes, okay, there it is. Now put up the other photo.
But let's see.
How pretty. This one is very pretty. Yes. Now the others.
And this, what is it?
Those are the ones that melted on me, but that was like let me see another one. It was like 2 years after you bathed her.
No, that's not what I mean. What does that have to do with it? Both of them?
Like you're not... No. Greetings to Verma Reyes. Also greetings to Novak's dad. How is your dad, Novak?
Greetings, how have you been?
They're really good. They're melted cookies because since we lived at the beach in the winter, Christmas was warm. This greeting goes out to Wilkoff. He says, I used to be single. Now I'm still single, says Wilkoff. He says it's for the Tapatía community, just to keep the tradition going. Let me tell you, they did an endoscopy on me because in Vancouver they did one and told me I had a hernia. All that isn't true, and those symptoms are false. It's good you don't have it, right?
Yes, it's good you don't have it, exactly.
Yes, greetings. And look, this is the first world, not always. But we also have an acquaintance in the United States who has had the same blood pressure problem for years, right? Years and pills and other things and tests and, well, 1,000 things in total. The other day, as I understand it, he went to a general doctor or someone who isn't a specialist and said, oh, haven't you tried this pill? She took it and Santo Romero said, a small pill once a day, after years of taking 20 pills.
And that they cause problems. So he was really happy, he says. But how is it possible that someone has the answer now after years of struggling? Who knows? I mean, sometimes I do feel like you have to keep looking for answers, even if they tell you there's no solution. And I don't know what, I don't know when, I don't know. There's always a way in someone who has it. You just have to keep searching. And it's great that you found that other pill. It's great that they told you about it.
That's good. Yes. Honestly, yes, it didn't mess you up. They didn't melt due to altitude. We melted them here in Monterrey. The ones that melted did so because I used more butter. I just have this habit of adding whatever I want when I make cookies. Is that a consequence? Greetings to Maria Elena, who says good evening and sends hugs and encouragement for the birthdays. Greetings to Tehuacan, Puebla.
What's up? How are you all doing? Look, check out the picture that Ruben sent us. If I'm not mistaken, Ruben is over in Canada near New York, near Buffalo. No, check it out. So, how's the weather over there? And I think the wind isn't as strong there as it got at one point. But yeah, you can definitely see it's cold, right? Yeah, the snow looks intense. It's slipping. Did you see where it's going in? It's slipping. Well, that's how it is. Thank you very much, Ruben. There you can see a little bit of what the weather looks like. The image is vertical, but look, you can see a little bit more. But this is the most interesting part, not the part about the snow or the low visibility. Well, even though it's cold here, no, this is real cold. This is really cold. Yes, but right now, not without sleeves. It sounds again, but just for a bit because it is.
It's cold, says Panterita to Pepe. Pepe, he says, I can confirm that he does whatever he wants.
Yes. I mean, if he feels like it, if he's working.
I'm really worried about sugar and fat. Well, fat, the brain. And at some point, it's going to tell you to stop. But sugar, no, not sugar. The brain uses it rapidly, which is why I worry more about sugar than fat.
Fat fills you up. That's what's interesting. Fat doesn't. If you eat slowly, it'll fill you up quickly. Sugar, though. It's like this. That's how it is.
That's why kids can overeat sweets. If you don't watch them, yes.
But they also watch the fat.
Of course, you have to watch it, but sugar is more concerning.
He says, so is the recipe okay for you?
Yes, the recipe works for me. Over the years, I'm learning.
To follow the recipe?
To follow the recipe, and I watch videos and I understand. Okay, that's why you put this and not that, but it took me a while.
He says, it seems like he has a friend in Alaska who's having a great time with the snow. He says, well, that's cool. Greetings, Paterita, he says. A lot of extreme heat here in Chile, really. You know, we shared an image of a fire that's happening there in Chile this morning. You know, yeah. He says, here it says that the green spaghetti is speaking.
The green spaghetti says yes, it's made with sauce. Did you want to buy the sauces?
At Blanca's place.
Well, honestly, the one I know is called the pesto, but there are people who also make it with poblano. I don't know which one. Your lights are red. And what if the pork loses? And with mashed potatoes. Potato, how delicious, look.
That's all.
They want me to cook for them. You visit, do chores, and end up cooking.
Look, well, maybe he's got a good touch, maybe. Yes, Wigoff says if anyone here eats kosher food, let's see if anyone raises their hand. Greetings. How have you been, Marcela Francisco? Who else is here? Dilson, how are you, Edgar?
How have you been? That's cool. The idea and its copy, I don't remember where I saw it, but I liked it. Greetings also to 60s. Well, if we already read it too, greetings to Panterita and Carivales.
Those are ginger ones.
No, they're ginger ones.
Yes, no, he says they're not. Greetings. How have you been, Jesus? Hello all the way to Venezuela. What's up? Hello, very nice. And the little dolls are cute. He says, how are you, Marisol? Hello.
Greetings to Marisol. Hello, friends.
What's up? Greetings. How are you doing? Who is out there?
Well, let's see.
Come on, we had greeted each other. Well,
Chris, how are you?
He says, what plans do you have for 2026?
The cheese is so good, Pepe.
Some people have already been sharing more or less, so what's the plan with the goat? What do you say? Yes.
There's poblano chili.
He chants, poblano chili, go, go, go. I make the green spaghetti with spinach, cilantro, poblano chili, mixed with cream and chicken broth. Are they bringing out more? Is it for lunch, dinner? And the plan is to watch movies, and at night, like a New Year's plan, to watch a movie. Probably the ending of Stranger Things, possibly.
That's the 31st.
The 31st, yes, it could be this one. And that's it, just being there, maybe hanging out and chatting, right? And obviously we're going to stream, right? So we'll stream here for a while and then we'll go out to dinner somewhere, right? So, well, he says, actually, that's it. The second stream is happening now. I think we've already had dinner, right? More or less.
Yeah, when we're here on the second stream, well, they're going to see us with a bit of a belly.
We'll upload the photos there. We'll post the photos there.
The belly?
Yeah, of the belly. The belly, you say we upload the belly photos, yeah.
Greetings to Mera Moscow. How are you? Also, how have you been, Onyx? And let's see, Caribe. We've already greeted them.
What's up? Greetings, he says. Let's see if we've already read it, he says. Don't forget the grapes. He says we didn't buy these grapes because last year we didn't, but hold on. It's not an expensive broadcast. It's the usual price, right?
It's not always good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't really see the price as a problem. I mean, the bag was $149. But I already remember from the past few years, I mean, you're already really full at that point and you have to stuff yourself even more. Plus, they're two huge grapes. I mean, they're not little grapes, they're big ones. I remember that I don't think I even took them out. I said, no, I can't anymore. After 5 grapes, I just couldn't, so that's it. I don't know if you've seen this. This is a movie, right? The Monty Python one. It's like a lot of sketches in one movie, right? And in the movie, in the final sketch, or one of the last ones, I think it's called The Meaning of Life, a pure comedy and parody, right? And then at the end, there's a character who's extremely fat, like really, really fat. He's telling you that this
is a balloon?
Is a giant balloon. The belly is like this and it turns around, lowers its head like this, keeps going. I mean, yeah, it's a huge hat in a suit and it's in a super fancy restaurant, like really luxurious. No, dressed with, you won't see with a little bow. No, I'm not going to sprinkle all of this. And then he's eating everything. Yeah, so does it happen? Something that reminds me of the grapes? That suddenly, when, I mean, you've already eaten everything and then something extra comes and you say, that's it. I mean, you say, I've eaten all this. What if I can't handle this little one? Something similar happens with this character. Did anyone see it? Greetings from Merida, Venezuela. I always watch you and don't get mad, but sometimes listening to you makes me really sleepy. But I think it's her voice. She speaks very nicely.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
But it's the first time someone has told me that.
They fall asleep?
It's the first time someone has told me that. At least.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, after the tamales, the diet begins. Exactly. It can't be that one. Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, before that, you have to be eating well, and then that day comes, well, that day you eat more, let's say, and you don't keep it up, right? Well, they keep going.
Says Guillermo Vega. For those of us who have pets, tomorrow is one of the worst days of the year for those who have pets that are sensitive. Of course.
Yeah, not all pets. So far, we've had pets, and none of them, you realize that.
They don't care about that. But we have seen it. I mean, every year. I often remember seeing many dogs that had been run over when we were in Santiago on January 1st. Because they run away from their owners, don't know how to cross streets, and get hit by cars. Many do. It was a ridiculous thing.
Yes. But that's how you go on the road. And I mean, if you see 3 or 4, it's easy all along the road because they escape, they get scared. Many times they also have them outside. We have them inside. Sometimes they react right at midnight, like they turn around and kind of bark. But they don't get nervous, at least in our case. But yes, a lot of dogs do get really nervous.
Jacobo Meneses, just like you all, greetings from Panama from Mr. Meneses. Greetings, sir.
What's up? How are you?
Panterita wants to know where to send the photos by email. The email is below, Panterita. No, it's not there. You already removed it.
Right? Yeah, it was on another banner.
Okay, of course it's not in that one then. No Pepe, no Jose at Pepe, just like you say, pepeinvivo.com. Send it to us there, yes.
Yes. Or if you also have the other email, yoseyende.com, that one too, that one is also there. Anyway, I'll leave the email open in case I get them. We'll check it right now.
Your birthday is January 24th and I hope for lots of gifts, says Panterita.
That's right.
That's what we're going to put you on the list for. Greetings, says Marisol. I hope that the arrival of the new year brings lots of prosperity and very good health to this dynamic duo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marisol.
And it says here, Jose Luis. By the way, here in Venezuela, we are very grateful to you for what you do for us. May God bless you, and when we recover the country, we will bring you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was Luis.
It was Luis and Jolie.
It was Luis Araujo.
Thank you, best regards, and that's how it will be. We look forward to visiting Venezuela.
Of course, yes.
Someday, that's for sure.
Says Marcelo Sander.
Sorry, it's Jose Arroba and PP. 2 P's in a row, Pen Vivo. If you write PP fully, it won't appear, so use Pen Vivo. Actually, it's jos@penvivo.com. That's the email.
Says Marcelo. Walk around with the suitcase. Put 3 bay leaves in your wallet, so I won't be lacking anything. 3 bay leaves. I'm not going to use the whole pack I have. Karim greets. Hello, Pepe. Good evening. Yesterday's show was great. Did you enjoy it? That's great. Very predictive, right?
Yes, about the predictions. We would actually like to do a little more.
We still have 2 left to do.
Yes. We wanted to do, more specialized shows on a specific topic from time to time, like yesterday, right? That one was all about different kinds of predictions. And yes, you're right. We have 2 left to do.
Yes, greetings to Julio, who said it was really cold in Buffalo. The ones that pile up, yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're over there, so you must be used to the cold. Earlier, I spoke to my stepfather in Chicago before the live stream. He said, I saw it's 5 degrees below zero. Then asked, isn't the weather great? I replied, what? Let me see, I already checked, and yes, it was minus 5 degrees below zero. I told him, no, I'm checking now. Where you are, it's minus 5 degrees. He replied, you get used to it. After days of minus 12 to minus 15 degrees plus cold and snow, he says, right now it's calm, so there's no wind, nothing right now, so it feels comfortable, he says. Yes, you're wearing a jacket, but no. All of Chicago is below zero right now. He thought it was above 32 Fahrenheit, but it was actually about 16 or 18 Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's colder, but well, that's how it is, he says. Greetings, Joao. Thank you very much. Greetings all the way to Brazil. Hey, what's up? Who else is out there? Says Gigi. How are you? Greetings. What's up, Fabi? Well, thank you very much. So let's go. Yes.
Says Julio Reese.
With pigeon peas and pork.
How delicious.
But what is that?
Gandrels? I don't know, but not the people who take from you.
No.
Pernil, well, it's a bird.
Yes, it's a bird. Yes, I don't know. Let me. Before we move on to the bread, we were left wondering, let's see what, and macaroni salad? It lists rice with pigeon peas, roast pork, and macaroni salad. It doesn't look too good or too bad. It would be something like that according to what Instagram shows me.
Oh, it's from Puerto Rico.
It's from Puerto Rico, right? Looks delicious. I hope someday I get to eat that rice with beans that look super delicious with kidney beans. Or I don't know what you call it, but this is what he's going to eat. Pigeon peas, rice with them, there they are, super delicious. The mashed potatoes look really good here in this house, and we're big fans of mashed potatoes, right? Yeah, well, not you, not me.
That much, yeah?
Not you, just the kids and me. When they say always, always.
Oh, Pernil is pork leg. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever in the mashed potato pot, do they tell you how much they want?
The pot?
Always the pot, all complete.
I've been cooking the pernil for 3 hours, Andale.
Well, enjoy.
For those who don't know, pernil isn't a visa. Yes, thank you very much.
It's not a visa. Okay, we don't know it.
Pernil is confused with quail. I don't know why it...
This looks really delicious.
Tapatia says thermal clothing is fantastic.
Well, yes, my good margin. Well, enjoy. To those who are preparing their dinner, their meal, to those who are already starting to eat right now, I hope it goes very well for you. See you tomorrow morning for our first live broadcast as we cover the Iran issue and other topics. Yes, and what else?
The news doesn't stop. Remember, guys, it doesn't stop. See you tomorrow. Remember, we're on Instagram and also on WhatsApp and on Instagram. Yes, we're also on Telegram, Facebook, the web, and X. We send live notifications on Telegram and WhatsApp so you don't miss our shows.
See you tomorrow around 11 in the morning and until the first live stream. Unless something comes up before then, or not before, well, let's be well. See you later. We interrupt your regular programming. Thank you for tuning in.
The truth?
This is Pepe Live.
The truth is intense, harsh. The unusual is real, harsh. We analyze it here. Global perspective. Don't miss out. Tune into the PP and Vivo channel. Controlling the signal. Pepe and Astrid telling it like it is. Raw journalism is respected here. Turn on the alert. Don't lose track until next time. Yes, sir. We're taking attendance. Subscribe. PP Live at the house.